My name is Christina. I am the Education Manager for AEIVA. AEIVA is short for the Abrams-Engel Institute for the Visual Arts. If you aren't familiar with us, we are the art museum located on the University of Alabama at Birmingham. We present 8 to 10 exhibitions a year, highlighting a mix of regionally, nationally, and internationally acclaimed artists, focusing almost exclusively on contemporary art. And of course, 2 of those exhibitions every year are our juried student annual exhibition and our BFA exhibition, which we're going to see tonight. We serve a diverse audience of university faculty, staff, and students, but also the artists, museum patrons, and donors. We help represent the visual arts at UAB to local and regional institutions, but also the national and international art community, while simultaneously striving to keep our exhibitions directly relevant and engaging to our surrounding Birmingham communities. Since opening in 2014, AEIVA has been featured in publications such as the New York Times, the Huffington Post, The Nation, Raw Vision Magazine, and PBS Canvas, and we are very proud that our exhibitions related educational programming, even virtually, are free and open to the public. So tonight's event is the BFA exhibition reception. But before we begin, I want to go over a few quick housekeeping notes. On your screen, you can see slides rolling for upcoming events hosted by the visual and performing arts entities here at UAB. I especially want to draw your attention to the last coloring night of the semester, which is going to feature one of our own, Melissa Yes, the program coordinator for the Department of Art and Art History, and one of our hosts for tonight. So that is next Thursday on May 6th. There will be coloring sheets available when you register. So be sure to register for that event after this one. Our partners over at the Alice Stevens Center and Arts and Medicine also have upcoming events in May, and Art Play continues its popular online Lunch and Learn series, which we were just talking about. It is a free virtual session on Enneagrams, also in May. So lots of great things to finish off the semester strong. So be sure to follow us on social media for more information and also for those registration links. So on to tonight's event. Please note that discriminatory or hate language of any kind will not be tolerated. The session is being recorded, but note the recordings are largely screen shares. So we want to encourage you, if you feel comfortable with it, to turn on your screens. We can't unmute to applause, so if you want to applause at any time, you can do the sign language for applause, which is this, or you can put your praise, and particularly if you have questions, go ahead and pop those into the chat, which the chat button is located at the bottom of your screen. So this is a night to celebrate these incredible artists. We will start with some words from the department and then go through the exhibition, which is located physically in our galleries, but we will be viewing that virtually. So this virtual reality tour that we're about to do, we'll show you here in a minute, is located online. You can go back and spend more quality time with these pieces after the event. So after we go through that virtual exhibition, we will be doing a Q&A session with the students. So again, as you have those questions pop into your head, drop them into the chat and I will ask the questions for you during the Q&A session. So I believe we are ready to go, and I'm going to hand it off to the chair of the department, Rich Gear.
Hey, thank you very much. Congratulations, all of you guys, and congratulations to any family who's out there listening as well, and for all the support of young artists. Especially like to begin by thanking our AEIVA staff, who constantly rises to the occasion to work with our students, engage our students, very close colleagues. It is a wonderful thing to see the BFA, which is a professional degree in the arts, treated in a professional manner in an institution like AEIVA. And so I would like to give the staff at AEIVA a big round of applause. Working individually, you guys got the treatment that I hope you will get many times more over in your career in working with galleries and preparing, and we'll get a little taste of that tonight. About a year ago, a little more, we were thrust into our current reality where everyone had to quickly determine how we were going to finish the semester. You guys did so well, but then you came back in the full year of your BFA experience, and really showed incredible resilience and grit and overcame many challenges to get to where you are today. I've walked through that show with people. It is a gorgeous show. My apologies that we have to do these things still virtually. Hopefully, if everybody gets vaccinated, we'll be able to gather again soon. But the show is up and the show is being viewed and the show is spectacular. Congratulations, you guys. Keep up the good work. We're also very proud of the fact that several students are going on to major graduate study programs here. And that is as well another very good pause for celebration and congratulations. So you didn't come here tonight to hear me. So I do want to give congratulations and let Stacy Holloway, who is our BFA coordinator and official cat herder when it comes to the BFA experience, who is just so dedicated to working with you guys, a minute for her to just say hi. So Stacy, thank you.
Hi. Yeah, I just want everybody to know that, you know, all of what Rich said, the whole faculty mirrors those thoughts. So I did just want to say quickly that we are very proud to see such a very diverse student exhibition that covers a wide variety of media and concepts. And the students, you guys really adapted very well to the new situations due to the pandemic, like Rich said, all those challenges and obstacles. So I'm just really proud to see that you guys stayed focused and you produced a very successful exhibition that you all should be very, very proud of yourself. So I'm going to hand it off now to Melissa and Christina, who will get us started.
Thanks, Stacy. So we are now going to go into the virtual exhibition. So Amanda, our wonderful tech person here, who has done an amazing job this whole semester, I want to give her a shout out, is going to share her screen, and we, Melissa and I, will guide you through this exhibition. This exhibition is located on the AEIVA website. So that is uab.edu/AEIVA. And if you scroll to the bottom of the screen, you will see the virtual tour, so you are able to click on it. As we go through this, at the beginning of each section, so all the students had kind of a section of the gallery, the students will, or I for them, will read their BFA Artist Statement. So we will go ahead and get started. And as we navigate to the first one, Cece, would you like to unmute and read your statement?
Okay. I see myself as a representational eco-poetic artist. I work with issues of race, identity, and ecological remediation. I work mostly with mixed media, fiber, and painting processes on two-dimensional grounds of cloth, paper, and canvas. My most recent work questions and explores pinpointing particular birds and finding parallel struggles between the interests of Black Lives Matter and bird extinction. Both are struggles for survival. I also explore the current state of racial justice in America and how Black Lives Matter, police brutality, and various injustices frame my autobiography. I'm drawn to birds as a symbol and a mediation between the human and spiritual world. As a Black female in the Deep South, I've had some of these experiences firsthand. They both rise and fall and plummet to the earth. I want to ask deep and searching questions about both my Black identity, my personal life, and our environment. Nature and the outdoors have historically been depicted as majority white spaces. Diversity is important for our community and environment. Nature and the outdoors have I'm sorry, I think I read it again. I'm excited that outdoor spaces are being claimed by people of color. Typically, Black people in the United States are told that outdoor exploration and many types of art are not for them. I want my work to change the narrative of racism and how Black people experience nature. Hopefully, my work can be a springboard to shape a more diverse future for birding, art, and conservation. My creative research involves going to Black Lives Matter protests with my aunt and I also read articles and watch public protests online. I draw most of my images from the political protests where people are holding signs and marching. I try to read the most recent cases and whether or not headway is being made in the prosecution and court cases. At times, I'm overwhelmed because so much is happening and it never seems to end. My research also involves watching birds in the park and looking at birds in the library. I buy books that have illustrations and information about birds. Using both the taxonomy and the skeletal pictures, I create many interpretations of the birds. I'm very interested in creating works with multiple layers that both explore my memory, identity, and ecosystems and biodiversity. I look to connect all of that to succeed in the world and approach themes and questions about Black identity and nature as a forensic naturalist, and examine the documents and narratives both empirically and personally. Recycle, reuse, repurpose, reduce, and remediation are ideas I've incorporated into my practice. I'm most intrigued with presenting a deeply personal and, if sometimes, fantastical interpretation of nature and human interaction. I believe in order to save ecosystems and value Black identity, it is important for me as an artist to immerse myself in the problem and create works that function in intervention of the stream of life. I want my work to propose questions and narratives and provide a platform for change.
Okay, thank you. So everyone, these are all works by Cicely M. Hill. This first image is Rowboat, Mixed Media on Paper, 2021. Hands Up, Don't Shoot, 2021. Site-specific installation, plaster casts, mixed media, and acrylic. Hoodies number 3, 2020, graphite on paper. Hoodies number 1, 2020, graphite on paper. Hoodies number 2, 2020, graphite on paper.
Great job, Cece. Next up, we're going to hear from Molly Sinclair.
Being a child, you're new to the world. You don't know anything to anyone other than experiencing life. Only one prevalent day-to-day activity takes charge: playing. Play is something I believe everyone takes for granted during their childhood. I reminisce back to my childhood self and now regret the continually counting down the days until I reach the next milestone in life. Many children, myself included, would play house to emulate what it would be like once we reached maturity, taking care of a baby, cleaning house, all of the achievements you can't wait to obtain as an adult. As time has gone by and I've crept into the early stages of my adulthood, all I long for is my childhood again. Suddenly the world that wasn't so scary to begin with now rests its unbearing weight on your shoulders. The transition from careless child to newly bound adult is jarring. I find, along with many others in my generation, that it's extremely difficult to maintain a work-school life balance and still be able to pay bills. Adulthood doesn't begin with truly living as your younger house-playing self always thought. The deeper you think about life, the more you come to find out that life is ever shifting. The beginning stages are difficult, and I'm constantly reminiscing on the days when I had no burdens to shoulder. I ache to be a child again. I long to play once more. My work is an examination of many different memorable acts of play, showcasing their continued existence into adulthood as a way to cope and create routine. The way we play has adapted, but its root from our adolescence remains. Taking baths and playing with mountains of bubbles is now transformed into a relaxing way to decompress after a stressful day. Cuddling with childhood's stuffier blanket can help us feel secure in our most vulnerable states. Playing in the mud can connect us back to earth and stimulate our creativity. Once tea parties with toys now becomes a cup of tea or coffee combined with long conversations at a cafe with a friend. When you once copied your father or mother's shavings now turned into your own routine, and building and creating can help distract your mind from an intense, stressful day. In an effort to drive home the concept of my series and reach a relatable note with the viewers, I included the quintessential gallery. In every home I've ever visited, there's always been one staple in the kitchen, a fridge adorned with family photos, childhood artwork, and quirky magnets. Compiling these items from my own collection, I created a gallery of my most fond memories caught on camera as a child, photos and keepsakes that make me long for childhood again.
Thank you, Molly. So all the following works are by Molly Sinclair. Bubble Bath, 2021, archival pigment print. Teddy, 2020, archival pigment print. Shaving, 2021, archival pigment print. The Quintessential Gallery, 2021, found objects. Fun in the Mud, 2020, archival pigment print. Building Blocks, 2021, archival pigment print. Tea Party, 2021, archival pigment print. Wonderful
Great
work.
job, Molly. Next up, we have Rosalia V-Rays. Would you like to unmute and go ahead and read your artist statement?
Yes, I would. So the phrase white Latina is an oxymoron, but it is what I am. Racially passed as white, but my family's from Ecuador and Uruguay. It can be difficult to find myself in my family, much less anywhere. However, I can find myself in the fiction of folklore while embracing my heritage. My artwork relates Inca mythology to personal familial history. The medium is layers of mixed media because the history of the Inca and my family live on as a mixture of Spanish and native culture. As I physically collage abstract patterns of traditional textile to definite figures of humans and animals, I am figuratively piecing together a world in which I can find myself. The figures of family members and endemic animals of Ecuador are slightly smaller than life size so that they can appear welcoming while retaining a grand presence. I saturate the lifelike drawings to maintain that presence over a distance. Behind initial appearances of grandeur, the layers of pattern and information packed into every piece reveal a deeper meaning. The artwork ranges from Inca vanitas exhibiting animals and symbols of the afterlife, to a diptych of a spectacled bear and my mother connecting to the myth of the bear's wife and her children. The cuckoo are bear people, the only beings being able to bring ice from the mountains because they have the intelligence of man and the strength of bears. During Corpus Christi celebrations, cuckoo dancers scale howling glaciers as a pilgrimage to Kiruruti'i. I can't speak Quechua that much, it's a native language. and spend a night on the ice as an initiation of manhood. In the myth of the bear's wife and her children, a bear man disguises himself as an attractive human and seduces a young woman. He carries her to his cave, keeping her captive, and she has a pair of sons who grow quickly. After 6 months, the sons are strong enough to push the rock blocking the cave door. The myth parallels with many stories of mothers and motherhood, but with my mom, she is the wife that unknowingly married a bear man, and my two brothers are the sons that help her escape. My perspective of the stories are that the true heroes are the mothers that raise children by themselves. My mother is as intelligent and strong as any ukuku. In my diptych, she wears markings inspired by the ukuku dancers and mirrors the bear who carries a wise expression. Drawing these myths to aspects of my family's lives helps me to understand their experiences that I missed. The end goal of this work is to be a celebration of heritage and ancestry that signifies the importance of stories and mythology in modern society. Fictional stories still provide lessons into who we are individually and societally. That's it.
Thank you, Rose. So all of the following images are by Rosalia V-Rays. This is Incas Vanitas 1, 2021, image transfers, monoprints, and ink. Falcon Batinas. Rose, forgive me if I'm doing it wrong. 2021, colored pencils and collage. Kestrel Ego, 2021, colored pencils and collage. Chaupinamka, 2021, colored pencils, thanks Rose, and collage. Galapagos Originality, 2019, colored pencils and collage. Spectacled Bear, 2020, colored pencils and collage. Ukuku, 2021, colored pencils and collage. Inca Vanitas 2, 2021, image transfers, monoprints, and ink.
Great job, Rose. Thank you. Next up, we have Caroline Myers, and I will be reading her artist statement. So these are in her words. I paint the human figure with the purpose of better understanding the people around me. When I was 15 years old, I was diagnosed with a tumor that took 50% of my hearing, and with it, the literal ability to understand the people around me. This newfound urgency to understand my peers and loved ones brought a reliance on constant observation. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, there was an unexpected consequence. Lip reading, a skill that took me so long to perfect, was no longer possible in a mask-wearing society. Inspired by my own reality of the COVID-19 pandemic, and my love for disruptive realism, a distortion of traditional realism painting, my final BFA show, Disrupted Reality, came to life. I photographed my subjects in varying levels of motion, some even telling me stories so that I might capture their authentic methods of communication in the smallest of details. I then overlaid these images to create reference photos for these moving portraits. The resulting 5 paintings demonstrate my reliance on motion and communication, whether it's the slight shift of a person's eyes or the dramatic hand movements that accompany a passionate story. My hope is that this body of work is not only a unique visual experience for the viewer, but that it compels a sense of curiosity in how we communicate with each other on a daily basis.
So all of the following works are by Caroline Myers. This is Matthew, 2021, Oil on Canvas. Bailey, 2021, Oil on Canvas. Please forgive me, the last one was Jay, not Bailey. So this image is Henry, 2021, Oil on Canvas. And this is Bailey, 2021, Oil on Canvas. Blue Glasses, 2020, Oil and Silver Leaf on Canvas.
Great job, Caroline. Next up, we have Elena Mangerbank.
Hello. So there's an organic openness to world building that can't be fully realized through the limitations of classical storytelling. And The Remnants of an Echoing Realm explores this openness by providing fragments of a fantasy world as if they're historical documents and articles discovered and presented in a museum, a history museum-esque setting. And the beauty behind world building is that every story has its own truth and adds another layer of complexity to the foundations that have been laid. Worlds are given life through the stories that they tell in the same way that buildings are given structure by the bricks that are used to build it, and the pieces of glass, and etc. My audience will begin to explore the depths of their imagination in a way that steps beyond the limitations of this tangible world and create a reality of their own that they can cultivate and share in the same way that I am cultivating and sharing with you.
So the following works are by Elena Mangerbank. These are Stitched Maps, 2021, Charcoal on Handmade Paper. Drawing of an Unknown Beast, 2021, Conte on Handmade Paper. Drawing of Strange Humanoids, 2020, Ink on Handmade Paper. Forgive me, Elena, if I get this wrong. Records of the Opus Thora.
Got it.
Awesome. 2020. Pen and ink on watercolor paper.
I'd realized just earlier that I forgot to send you the pronunciations of these, but I think it's fine.
Records of the Beast Silas. 2020. Pen and ink on watercolor paper. Records of the Ophidius. 2020. Pen and ink on watercolor paper. Tablet with glyphs. 2021. Ceramic. Strange humanoid. 2021. Ceramic. Cat relief. 2021. Ceramic. Small keepsakes. 2020. Ceramic. Ancient idols. 2021. Ceramic.
Congratulations, everyone. This has been an amazing exhibition to see and constantly experience. I'm glad this year we were able to open it up to you guys and your family and friends to be able to see it in person. For everyone else, I hope that you get to go online later or in the months to come, because this will stay up online for a little bit, and check it out. But for now, we are going to shift to the question and answer session. So we will put all the artists up here on the screen. And I know that us as staff had a couple of questions, but as you as the audience have any questions, please be sure to drop that into the chat and I will make sure to ask that for you. I will start with my question. Caroline, I was intrigued by how you gave a brief overview of how you made these pieces in your BFA statement. Can you go into it more? So you took pictures and then you overlaid them, and can you explain how you got from pictures to the paintings?
Sure. So some of them were unintentional photographs that I had just taken of people in good lighting, and I ended up merging them together to create a sort of double exposure image. And then others, I had them literally tell me stories so that I could get their hand movements and their facial expressions. And I took 2 to 3 images and I stacked them on top of each other, and I used opacity and stuff like that to alter and create a double exposure image to use for the final reference.
That's awesome. It turned out so well. Everyone's did. So I know, Melissa, you and Amanda had a question. Did you want to go ahead and ask that one?
Yes. And I think there's a part 1 and part 2 to this whole question. The part 1 is for everyone that you can chime in kind of later, which is, other than the more scholarly, thoughtful references that you talked about in your artist statements, are there any other references from like your daily life that you haven't mentioned but that are definitely influencing your work? So that leads me to part 2 of my question, which is specifically for Elena. I have to know if Studio Ghibli is an influence of yours, especially because of the Ancient Idols ceramic piece that we saw as the very last image.
So, there are definitely things that I enjoyed as a child, but my main influences actually come from things like Dungeons and Dragons and video games that I've played, because like I enjoy non-linear storytelling and like that's kind of my thing. I will admit, I did realize that I had some parallels to things like Studio Ghibli and Legend of Zelda after I'd made them, and I was like, "There's no such thing as an original idea. Like, I am just a culmination of these things now, aren't I?"
I love it. Own it. I think you did a really good job of taking an influence of something that has a very particular style, and instead of, you obviously did not copy it. You have your very own sensibility. So you're doing what great artists do. You're making references to things that are in our visual culture, and you're turning it into something new. So I'd love to hear from everyone else, the other artists in the room. Are there any influences that maybe you're a little bit shy about talking about because they seem too lowbrow or something, but I'm here to tell you they're not. We want to know what they are. What are your secrets?
I can go next. I sort of have a photography background. My dad's a little bit of a photographer on the side, and so I grew up photographing a bunch, and that's how I learned how to use Photoshop and double exposure and that sort of thing. And one of my favorite artists is Alyssa Monks, who also uses kind of a Photoshop double exposure method to create her pieces, and she merges figures with nature photographs, and that's sort of a source that I got that method from. So.
CC, I see you have your mic off. Would you like
yeah.
to? Would you like to go next?
I really don't have I just gather from around me. Like I take pictures of my friends and family and stuff like that, and then in nature in general. So all my influences just come from really outside of me. Sometimes it's in passing. I'm outside and I'll see a bird or something, and I'll take pictures of it. And my finals were like this last class I had. I was talking about the cedar waxwings that like die on campus, and I thought it was kind of morbid. But I was taking pictures of the birds because their feathers were so pretty, but they were dead, but they were pretty, and so I was kind of like, I actually erased them from my phone at first because I was like, oh, that's scary. And then I went back and found them because I was like, oh, I really want to look at those pictures again because their feathers are so pretty. So I guess just being in nature and stuff around me, I have to kind of bargain with myself whether or not should I keep this photo? Would people think it's weird, and that kind of stuff. But other than that, that's pretty much what I do.
I did the exact same thing with the cedar waxwings, and I sent pictures to Doug of them because I thought they were so beautiful. But yeah, I found them on campus, and they were dead, but they were so pretty, and I had photos of them.
Wait, were we talking about dead birds or dead butterflies?
Dead birds. There's usually a lot of dead cedar waxwings near the art buildings because of some bushes that exist, unfortunately.
Oh, I've seen a lot of maybe they're not always like butterflies or moths, and they're just like sticking to the wall of the humanities building. And I'm like, oh man, I want to take that, but I should just leave it there.
I'm barking. Give me one second.
I mean, I can say on another hand, before just looking into like my own heritage, I really love mythology all around, and then I loved reading fantasy books and a lot, and that's why I really like Elena's her building, trying to create a world, because that's something I always wanted to do in a way. But I thought it was important to look into who I am as a person in a way. But really, I wanted to do a lot of Japanese influence work. And Doug is like, you can't do that. You're not Japanese. He's like, you can use the influences. In a way, he's just trying to prepare us to maybe not intrude too much on other cultures or people. Definitely be influenced and inspired by them. But I think it's important to realize what's most authentic to yourself.
When I first started doing photography, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do portrait initially, and then I stumbled upon an artist. His name is Mark Harless, and he did a bunch of conceptual portrait work. And so that's kind of like when I started exploring portrait work. And so I've like done a bunch of different kind of styles, and then I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do because my initial idea for my BFA kind of got taken away. So then I kind of like went based on how I was feeling because it was the beginning of the pandemic and I lost my job, and so I was like super stressed out and my mental health went down a lot. And so I kind of thought back on like wanting to be a kid again. And so then from there, that's kind of how I came up with stylistically how I did it or how I made my work.
I will say the thing I love about student exhibitions, and I'm sure some of you have heard me say this before, is you can always see what you guys are going through individually over the last year or so, and then also collectively as a group. There's always some sort of theme that really binds all the works together, and this year it seemed to really come out with not just identity as a theme, but also kind of how you guys are approaching yourselves as well. And which I thought was a really kind of interesting thing because we all went through COVID, and that's something we all spent a lot of time thinking about and how we exist within ourselves and with the world around us. So I thought it was such a beautiful theme that really connected all of your artworks together. Everything just really kind of laid out beautifully within the space, each within your own individual works, but also collectively as a group. So we've had a lot of great comments in the chat, so I want you guys to make sure you take a moment to look at those. For the artists, I will copy those and send them to you as well. But if you are in the audience and you do have a question, please be sure to put it into the chat. But I have another question for you guys. Graduation is in 2 days. What are you guys planning to do next? Yes, an applause for graduation.
So my family is actually having a little graduation party for me in the room across from me. So we're doing that right now for graduation. I'm not walking, but we are celebrating, and I will be attending Clemson University. So I'm very excited about that. And New York this summer, as my mom just yelled across the room.
Yes, don't forget about that residency. Let's see, I'm going to start calling on you guys then. Molly, do you want to go?
Okay. Pre-pandemic, initially I had wanted to go into grad school, but since everything's been online and I haven't been able to go and visit all the different facilities, I've kind of like taken a step back and I'm gonna hang out for a year, and I'm just gonna focus on creating more work. And I'd like to apply for residencies and try to get more into like the professional art world as opposed to commercial, because I feel like that's like something that I've kind of had a battle with within myself, is like art versus commercial. So I think focusing on that for the next year at least until things get back to normal and I can then go on to grad school.
I always advise a year off. There's a lot of people I know that have done it, and they appreciated it. Let's see, I'm going to go with across my screen. So Rose.
So I feel like it took me a while to figure out what my art style was, because I do love drawing a lot, but I did like experimenting with printmaking and photography. But I just want to really build on the exhibition that I exhibited to make maybe like a whole family tree in a way and other references. And then just within next year, apply to a lot of residencies and exhibits and things like that. I just want to build upon what I have myself, and obviously I'll have part-time jobs, but I do want to apply this fall to maybe some graduate schools and things like that, because I do want to kind of continue my education and I really just want to see what's out there.
Absolutely. Okay, Elena?
So, contrary to the others, I am absolutely sick of school. So, I'll be working alongside Doug Balas this summer. I actually already have a commission with the university to illustrate one of those height markers for children. So I'm currently working on that, and once I finish that, I also have another prospective commission from the university that I need to get into details later on with Doug and all of that. But I'm really just planning on seeing where my art takes me so far, because I'm interested in delving further into like the realms of Dungeons and Dragons and delving further into like fantasy and making books and illustrating for like even children's books and like fantasy and taking commissions and all of that stuff. Far in the future, I might consider like going into grad school, because I think it's also important to start fostering the next generation of artists. So, going into grad school is a great way to begin, I guess, not only taking that path, but also like going into like a teaching career in the future as well.
That's wonderful, Elena. No shame in being ready to go out and start working. It's absolutely a great thing. Okay, Cece, last but not least.
So I am going to grad school in the fall at South Carolina in Columbia. I will be taking the summer to do commissions that I have waiting. I have like 6 commissions waiting that I've been telling people, oh, you gotta wait till I get out of school. And then I'm really not out of school. I'm headed back to school. So summer's gonna be kind of busy, and then I'll be excited to start a new chapter at a new college and a new place. And I guess that's about it.
Congratulations. Well, thank you, everyone. It looks like, again, I will make sure to send, you've got a lot of wonderful comments in the chat, so please be sure to check that out, and I will copy and paste them to you guys here in a little bit. But since there weren't any other questions, did the faculty on here have any questions that you guys wanted to ask? Oh, Rich.
Yeah, I to back up a little bit, I have a question for Rose. You have taken this cultural heritage and then also kind of mythically involved your family in it and given them kind of things. So I have 2 questions. Number 1, is Lulu your family? On the
Who?
the
I know I have a Lolita.
Yes, Lulu is a family. Yes.
Oh, Lolita. See? Oh, that's my mom.
well, they lit up. Yes, that's their name here in Zoom land. And
Teresa Rivadeneira. That's my mother. That's the one I did a portrait of.
I figured, because they lit up when you were talking. That was fabulous. And I wonder how they feel and react to the way you are kind of using them as an influence to put them in your artwork, but also make them these larger than life characters.
I'll be honest, I didn't ask, I just did it. And then I was like, my mom's like, you're doing what now? Because I was looking through all the family like portraits. She tells me she feels very flattered, and I think she does. I mean, but she's really just she has such a strong woman. She is a strong woman and has such a strong story that I feel like I have a lot of family members like that. And, you know, I think sometimes there's the stereotype of if you come from South America or, you know, you're not like the greatest of society or something. But, you know, my mom's an architect. My aunt, she came and she's a pulmonologist saving COVID patients right now. And that's her sister. And yeah, it's like, she's awesome.
For everybody. Yeah, great.
So, and then, you know, my brothers really have been like those male figures in my life. and they're all so great. And I feel like I need to give back to them a little bit because I think I'm the youngest and I do think I am a spoiled a little bit. Yeah, I feel like they face all the hardships and they're like, I'm like, I'm going to be an artist. And they're like, what? But they're very happy for me, and I feel that, and I don't always show it though, and so I think this is me trying to give back to them.
It's great. Congratulations.
Congratulations. That is wonderful. Stacy, did you have a question?
I do. I was wondering if some of you guys could talk about, like, I know that last year, 2020, was like the first time that we had like a lot of these exhibitions and everything online. So that was kind of the first class to kind of have to deal with the pandemic, with exhibiting artwork and making artwork. But that was kind of quick for them. And you guys kind of had an entire year that you had to kind of work under these conditions. So I guess I'm interested to hear you guys talk about, is there something that, you know, kind of changed the way that you work, that was kind of like a result of the pandemic and quarantine and, you know, the masks, I know, and, or anything that's kind of been going on, like in the world? I don't know.
Well, I was surprised to find out that I really couldn't work at home. Like I have a canvas that's sitting in my kitchen right now that I've done the outline on. I hadn't painted yet, and my family walks by it every day and is like, "When you gonna paint that?" I'm like, "Never in the house." So I was so happy to be able to get studio space. Y'all have no idea. Like I just could not function at home unless pressed, like it was due the next day or something, and that was the only reason I was working at home. So with COVID, I found that the house is for me to sleep, eat, and watch TV. It is not a workspace for me. Like I feel like if I was to have to do it again, I would like pay for some studio space just so I could get that separation because I couldn't concentrate at home. But other than that, the rest of it was just dealing with the new normal because that's the new normal of the mask and everything. But yeah, what I discovered was that I just couldn't work at home.
I feel the same way as UCC. Like I found out, well, I already knew like I had an issue working at home, like getting myself to prioritize what I needed to do and do it. And then working from home, I procrastinate a lot, and then also have other issues that like keep me from focusing very well. And so I think getting to have the studio space and then also having tighter deadlines kind of pushed me through. Yeah, I have not enjoyed the online classes or being at home so much, but I'm happy that it's over now.
I mean, personally, I started in STEM, so I started in nursing and biology. So I'm half used to like the online classes and having to carry like heavy workloads in that manner. But I don't know, like there is no like new normal for me. This is just how it is for me. So like I had no prior experience when it came to studio practice when I joined the College of Arts and Sciences. It was really strange for me because I'd worked up an expectation from people from before, like Cole and Hannah, who had like a strong relationship with like everyone else in the BFA. But I found that it was a bit difficult with all this distance to foster a proper relationship with fellow students in general because we didn't have that shared space because of safety issues and all of that.
Yeah, that was definitely like one of the things that I kind of missed out on was not having such a close relationship with the other 4 people here because we weren't all in the studio at the same time and working late at night. But I'm very lucky to have, I took over the dining room in me and my 2 roommates' house, so this is my studio space, and I'm kind of used to working from home, even though my cats kind of run across my palette and there's paint everywhere, and it works out fine. But we deal with it, and I'm thankful that I had the space during COVID. Yes, they are helping.
I already have like of, I guess, weak mood swings in a way. And so COVID and my procrastination self did not go well. And it's almost like I had to kind of reconfigure how to schedule my time and figure out things in a way, because I felt like we all got used to just laying at home for a minute. And I think there is something to be said about having a camaraderie among people in the studio space. And then I have to apologize to Lulu. She's my little cousin. I was like, Lulu who? She's Maria Luisa, but we call her Lulu. Anyways, it's just, I feel a little bad now because I was like, who? I did expect her to, I guess she's older now. Last time I saw her, she was like 10. I'm like, why would she have her own page on? I thought she'd be watching her parents or something. But no, they're older now. They're like all teenagers, I think. That makes me a little sad.
Thank you, everyone. We are pretty much out of time. This was fantastic, and I want to echo what Gary just put into the chat. Congratulations to all 5 of you, and I look forward to hearing about your future successes. I know we all feel the same way as Gary does. So thank you guys. It's a wonderful exhibit. Again, if you haven't gone online and spent some time, if you weren't able to go with them during their visits, and if you would like to see the exhibition that is online, take a moment, spend some time with it, revisit it over the summer break. It will still be up online for a few months to come. So thank you guys. Again, wonderful applause. Rich, did you want to say any last words before we get off?
I think the chat has said it all. You guys be very proud, and yes, we look forward to following you. Stay in touch, call home, and let us know what you're doing. But mostly, congratulations, you guys. Really, it's a beautiful show. God, what a good job! And just go forth, make art, go to your studio, and make your stuff.
Great job, you guys. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. I know we had people from all over the nation and outside of the nation, so thank you all for zooming in with us tonight. Everyone have a good evening.